It's a good day. It's a good thing to make something amazing happen for yourself, learning something new. We're continuing on with Etsy Shenanigans here with episode 11, and we are finishing up the transparency report, the 2023 transparency report. And I believe up to now we may be one of the few that have actually covered it stem to stern. We are now on page 15, and we just get right into it just so that you know. I don't waste any time with that. Requests for member information or action. Etsy's privacy policy details how we handle member information and reflects our commitment to member privacy and transparency. Beyond these policies, Etsy seeks to adopt and maintain appropriate privacy and data security practices, which are reflected in our privacy principles. Etsy's privacy principles. Ethical custodians. We only collect and use data that we reasonably need in order to provide you with our services for marketing, to comply with our legal obligations, and to improve products and experiences for our community. It's your data. We believe you should have control over your data. We provide you with tools to easily access, download, and edit the data we've collected and allow you the choice, subject to applicable rules, to close your account and delete your data. Choice. We empower you with the choice to decide how to control your data. You can choose whether or not to participate in personalized advertising with third-party partners. You can also choose which, if any, marketing communications to receive. Data safety and security. Etsy takes the safety and security of your data seriously. We use industry standard technologies such as transport layer security encryption and work hard every day to protect your data. We also ask our partners and vendors to use appropriate security controls and privacy practices. Transparency. We tell you what data we collect, how we use data, and how we share it, including via cookies or software development kits. We update our privacy policy from time to time as we build new products and as privacy laws around the world evolve. A continuing commitment. At Etsy, we understand that privacy is an evolving topic, and we're committed to these principles as we build and grow. Insights from 2023. And before we get into that, let's make sure we are live and we can hear ourselves. Yes, we're good. All right, and we have our pinned tweet up, I believe. And we go ahead and give ourselves... Okay, yeah, we're good. Etsy produced records in response to 723 of the 778 legal process requests we received, which requested information relating to one or more members, transactions, listings, and other content on Etsy. We disclosed these requests to 1,691 affected members. Etsy generally notifies affected members before disclosing records or information requested about them, unless legally prohibited from doing so, or where Etsy has a clear indication of illegal conduct, and prior notification would be counterproductive. Aside from requests for member information, we also received legal process requests that were administrative. These include requests to freeze or divert funds from a member's payment account to comply with a legal obligation, such as those relating to liens, levies, or garnishments. Etsy disclosed member account, transaction, or listing information and other limited circumstances in line with our privacy and request for information policy. This policy allows the release of information when we believe in good faith that disclosure is necessary to comply with the law, prevent imminent physical harm or financial loss, or to investigate, prevent, or take action regarding illegal activities, suspected fraud, threats to property, or violation of Etsy's terms of use. We did not receive national security letters, Foreign Intelligence Services Act orders, or other classified requests for information in 2023. Keeping our community informed, increased seller education and resources. In 2023, we continued to publish and promote relevant policy and security education to sellers to help minimize disruption to running their businesses on Etsy. We updated our policy violation communications to be more direct and transparent, listing out exactly which policy was violated, listing any immediate or future impacts to their shop, and included upfront education for how they might avoid further policy violations. We also added new banners and labels in Shop Manager when a policy is violated, including highlighting exactly which listing violated which policy directly in the Listing Manager. We care deeply about keeping sellers' accounts safe and helping them thrive on Etsy. So last year, we kicked off our efforts to develop enhanced education and protections to help sellers avoid scams that target new business owners. We updated the account security checklist and launched new seller communications focused on the most relevant account security risks sellers on Etsy. Let me read that again. We updated the account security checklist and launched new seller communications focused on the most relevant account security risks facing sellers on Etsy and tips for protecting their accounts. Keeping our community informed. These are graphics now that show how the new policy violation message would come across. The message safety warning, what that would look like when you get it on your mobile device. Looking ahead, Etsy's marketplace continues to expand globally, and we're operating in an increasingly complex, adversarial, and regulated environment. We'll continue to invest heavily in the people, systems, and technology to keep our marketplace safe and special in our mission to keep commerce human. This year, we'll continue to amplify Etsy's efforts to uplift quality listings and provide quality user experiences. We'll focus on suppressing and removing problematic and policy-violating content to ensure the best of what Etsy sellers have to offer can shine. In addition to expanding on the 2023 efforts outlined in this report, our key focus area in 2024 include enhancing seller verification. We're enhancing and expanding our seller verification processes for new and existing sellers because we recognize that knowing who our sellers are is foundational to promoting trust and supporting positive buying and selling experiences. Evolving marketplace policies. We're updating and strengthening our marketplace policies in adult content, hate, violence, and off-platform transactions to continue to align with evolving industry standards, better protect our marketplace and members from harm, and increase clarity for our community around what can and can't be sold on Etsy. We're also clarifying our policies to buyers and sellers on what belongs on Etsy and why, including in emerging areas such as AI-generated content. Strengthening policy enforcement. We're continuing to improve our policy enforcement efforts, including investing additional resources to strengthen our anti-counterfeiting and product safety programs. Reducing not handmade violative view rate. We're working to further reduce not handmade VVR by removing more potentially violative listings that are flagged by our automated systems from search and recommendations until they can be reviewed by a member of our team. Protecting our users from spam and scams in messages. Connections between sellers and buyers are integral to our mission. Keep commerce human, but not all messages are well-intentioned. One of our top priorities this year is to enhance our policy enforcement in messages to ensure they aren't being used to facilitate harassment, scams, exploitation, or other policy violations. We believe in all these efforts will ensure all of these efforts will help ensure Etsy continues to be a place where creativity thrives. Well, we made it. We definitely did. So that was the Etsy 2023 Transparency Report. It took us a few evenings to get through it. There's actually some very interesting data points in here that are beyond or maybe more highlighted, more magnified outside of the earnings report. Let's go ahead and see where we're at. And yeah, okay, we're good. And then did it go all the way up? I think it did, didn't it? Okay. And then the I think what I'm going to do is just give you the name of the PDF and go over to Etsy and you will find it there. So this is the name of the document. There we go. Okay, so the next bit of business in all of this will be to visit a creator that looked at Etsy today. And let me see if I can get to it straight away. So I took the transcript and gave it over to Gemini to take a look and put it in a columnar format because it was rather damning. The narrative has more to do with a soft economy and fear of recession, depression situation coming. This is a rather successful YouTuber. He has 1.97 million subscribers. And I thought it was really necessary because his leanings were a little very doomsday oriented. So let me get to the part on my Gemini where I have the let's see. Oh, and I also have 35 AI names of that big list. I actually found out that I could scrape and take it over to Gemini right away, and they would put it in list form for me. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Learned a little bit about getting having access to Etsy's API today. to see how difficult that is to just get maybe one piece like trending. I did some research on E-Rank. Okay, here we are. So he started to suggest something when he was doing his whole thing on Etsy. So I took that concern over to Gemini. I said, when he describes buying crap, let me go before that. Can you summarize what is being said about Etsy? Okay. The video talks about the speaker's bearish outlook on the economy and the stock market, citing Etsy as a canary in the coal mine. The speaker says that Etsy's earnings report was bad, and it reflects poorly on consumer spending in general. They believe, this is the YouTuber, believes consumer spending is a major driver of the economy and that weak consumer spending foreshadows a recession. Other data points are mentioned to support this view, including consumer sentiment data and job security concerns. The speaker contrasts the current situation with 2022 and 2019, arguing that the economic climate feels much worse now. I asked the question, when he describes buying crap, what is the tone and phrase shared with his listeners? Gemini said back, the tone and phrase the speaker uses with listeners when describing buying crap on Etsy is dismissive and hyperbolic. Here's a breakdown. Dismissive, by calling the Etsy products crap, the speaker downplays their value and portrays them as unnecessary or frivolous purchases. Hyperbolic, using the term crap is an exaggeration to emphasize their point about excessive consumer spending. Overall, it's a critical tone that suggests these Etsy purchases are a bad financial decision. And I said, well, how for the canary in the coal mine metaphor? The speaker is using the canary in the coal mine metaphor to suggest that Etsy's bad earnings report is an early warning sign of a larger economic problem. Here's how it fits. The original context, in coal mines, canaries were more sensitive to dangerous gases than humans. If the canary died, it alerted miners to evacuate before the gas harmed them. Metaphorical meaning, here Etsy is like the canary. Their bad earnings, possibly due to decreased customer spending, signal potential trouble for the broader economy. Just like the canary's death warned of danger for miners. Etsy's struggles could be a warning sign of a coming recession, especially if it reflects a decline in consumer spending. By using this metaphor, the speaker is trying to convey that they see Etsy's situation as a leading indicator of a potential economic downturn. It's a way to highlight the seriousness of the Etsy news and its connection to the bigger economic picture. And then I asked for more research, actual research that one could do when they are studying decreased consumer spending. So this is what the advice is here. For government and economic organizations, you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, known as the BLS, publishes data on consumer spending through their Consumer Expenditure Survey. This data offers insights into spending patterns across various categories. Then there's the Federal Reserve, releases reports and economic summaries that often touch upon consumer spending trends. As to news and analysis, financial news websites, major financial news websites like the Wall Street Journal, Reuters, and Bloomberg publish articles analyzing consumer spending trends. Economic research groups, organizations like the Brookings Institution and McKinsey & Company publish reports and articles on consumer spending behavior. Search tips. Use keywords like consumer spending, consumer confidence, retail sales in your search queries. Look for articles with titles like, "Is consumer spending slowing down?" or "What's behind the drop in retail sales?" Consider the date of the publication. Aim for recent articles to get the latest data and insights. By using these resources and search tips, you can find a wealth of information on decreased consumer spending and the factors that contribute to it. And then I asked for it to be in a columnar fashion, which is inside of my Gemini. And I did ask for another summary, and it gave me back basically the same thing. Yeah, about using canary in the coal mine. The speaker could be suggesting that live video creators use impactful language metaphors and examples to keep their audience engaged and interested. So, I'm not really too sure about that. Okay, so that's where we're at there. And I think we did pretty well. I want to thank you for listening, and thank you to YouTube for keeping the lights on. This has been Beauty Bubble for Etsy Shenanigans, day 11 of our entire month of May. Yes, we're going all month. I've got a few things to say to close it up. It's a good day. It's a good thing to unleash your inner artist if you are thinking of selling your goods and wares. We are learning about Etsy all the month of May. We're trying to launch, doing our best to launch June 25th, which is kind of the time, it's a month before the Christmas in August. And jump on. Let's see if all of us can get some questions asked and answered to see whether or not Etsy is for us. So, thank you so much, and I'll talk to everyone soon. Bye-bye now.